All right, so when it comes to making a workout effective, one of the most common questions we get is, what weight should I be using for any given exercise? Or how hard should I be working? How hard should each set be? So I'm gonna introduce you to what's known as the RPE scale. It's called the rate of perceived effort or the rate of perceived exhaustion. And basically it's a scale of 1 to 10 where you can note how hard am I working, right? And I'm gonna teach you how we're gonna apply that to our sets. But the scale is from 1 to 10. 1 means this is a piece of cake, we do it all day long, and 10 means that I am pushing my absolute limit and I'm crushing myself into the ground, okay? There is an optimal level we want to be. When we're training, we want to challenge ourselves enough to promote some sort of adaptation, whether it be strength, building muscle, improving the skill of the movement. So we want to make sure we're challenging ourselves enough to make that change. But on the reverse side is if we are over-stimulating our body over and over and over in every set, and every workout, you're going to be putting a lot of stress on your body. You're going to be affecting the ability for you to maintain technique. Your overall exhaustion is going to be much higher. Joint pain and things like that are going to be beat up, and that's going to affect our recovery and ability to work out later on in the week. So there is an optimal range, and that range is what we're going to talk about today. Okay? So as your rule of thumb, for anything that is a warm-up set, you're going to call that a less than a 5 RPE, less than 50% effort. For anything that is a working set, our golden area is going to be this 6 to 8 RPE, okay? Now, what does that really even mean? So we can kind of look at it as percentages, right? So if something is a 60% effort, you could kind of just gauge based on your experience in the past what that is. But to be even more tangible about it, if something is a 6 RPE, then that means at the end of your set, let's say you're doing a set of 10 squats. After you do those 10 squats at a 6 RPE, you should feel like you could have done 1, 2, 3, 4 extra reps if you had to. Okay? You don't have to do it, but you should feel you had the ability to do so with good technique. Okay? If it was an 8 RPE, that means at the end of your 10 squats, you were using a weight that you could have done 2 more if you absolutely had to, but no more than that. Okay? That is how you can kind of use this scale to gauge. Now this is tricky, especially in the beginning. Okay? So it takes time to practice, but if you're self-aware, you will develop this skill. And as you get more and more training experience, you'll be able to relate back to other movements that you do, and there'll be similar movements will obviously use similar loads, so it'll help you get a starting point. Now here's how we can adjust this, right? There are times where we go outside of this range, depending on your goal, depending on your experience, and what we're working on specifically. But if you're a little bit more on the beginner side and you're not fully confident in your movements yet and confident in your ability to execute it well, we're going to stay on the lower end, closer to this 5 or 6 RPE. Okay, that's going to be good enough for you to practice the skill, develop some confidence in the movement, and make sure that we are not pushing to the point where we can tweak something and get an injury. The more advanced you become, you're going to be able to push it a little bit further down the line, right? So things closer to that 8 or even tickle a 9 RPE every once in a while, okay? Something where you're really challenging yourself but never sacrificing technique or movement quality. This is going to be your golden rule here. Give yourself a chance to practice. If you're ever feeling really confident in a certain movement and you're just not sure how it feels, as long as technique is looking good and you're feeling good, take that last set. Let's say we're doing 3 sets of 10 on our squat. On my last set of 10, I'm going to go for those extra reps. I'm going to do as many as I can with good technique, and you'll see really what you're capable of, and that'll help you get a gauge as to what hard feels like so that you can better assess as you move forward and progress. Okay? Give it a shot. Let me know if we have any questions.